Welcome. My name is Jerry Snyder. I'm going to take you a tour around the classroom that I teach at here at Sinclair Community College. This is a network engineering classroom in which I teach students 4 to 6 hours a day how to become a network engineer. I have high school students. I got students in their 20s, 30s, even some in 40 and 50 years old coming in here for either personal interest or looking for a second or possibly third career. I have developed most of these equipment pods through the years since I've been teaching since about 2002 as an adjunct and coming on full time about 3 or 4 years ago. I've developed some labs. I've ordered some equipment, purchased equipment for students to use while they're in the classroom to get the most out of them when they come into class. As I'm taking a short tour around the classroom, it's not very big, it holds about 20 students, and you can see the types of equipment here, and I'll go back through again and we'll talk about some of the equipment that you see in the classroom. Alright, I got a few lockers here, wires that used to put on the equipment when they do things. I have a library of books in which students can come and utilize the books in the library. I have like a little library. It's not much, but it's something that the students can use while they're in class. And I post some announcements either on the blackboard there or on the whiteboard. And then, as you can see, I have a sample of a PowerPoint that I display on the screen through a projector. It's when I lecture over different items pertaining to the subject of the day. This one says Introduction to SNMP, which is Simple Network Management Protocol. And then right here's my desk where I control things. I don't sit much behind the desk other than in the mornings preparing things. You see the podium with notes and things of that nature. And my personal items behind there, and then of course my dual screen where you can see where I have both the PowerPoint and other things open. So as you go back through, I'm going to continue scanning around. We're approaching some lockers here, and the lockers contain tools, repair equipment, wire testers, internal components when things break, and they definitely do break. And those are in these two lockers here, and I usually keep them locked just because students don't need to be in those. All right, and then we're coming up to some equipment here. As you can hear it running, you can hear kind of like a roaring sound. And let me scan over to where the students will sit. They will sit here, and it says in the screens, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they'll time out, but they'll sit there and log into their account and get their information, or they can do assignments that I provide for them. As you can take a look at some of the pods, you can see how the students have labeled those to make it easy when they're doing labs. You see something that says R1, R2, and it's switch 2 or pod 2, and over here is pod 6. Now it's a different type of equipment, so depending upon what the lecture is on the day and what the topic is, which pod we'll use. So now we'll assign them, tell them that they'll use pods 2, 3, and 1 for one day. Next day they'll use 6, and as you see over here, 7. As you can hear, this one's running. See the lights on. Cables are attached to it. Wireless router on top. And these are all working pods. All right, they don't have any internet connectivity, but I'm teaching these students how to configure these devices so that they can be utilized in industry, nonprofit, or wherever they work at. And then here's another smaller pod. I call them pods with 4 Enterasys switches. The equipment I have here is Enterasys, as you see here, and then this one over here is Cisco equipment. All right, all the way down from there's a firewall down at the bottom, and then some routers, some switches, and then a wireless router on top. All right, and then we'll scan over. As you can see, as I'm slowly scanning through this, I can hold about 20 students, and I do about 50%. Classes are somewhere between 10 and 12, so that's not too bad. 20 is the max. Every once in a while I get 20, but explain later why the classroom has kind of attendance has kind of went down here a little bit. And over here I have some computers where they actually tear them apart. They're old computers where they tear them apart and break them down and then put them back together again. Just a skill to basically show them that they can do, that they can tear these pieces of equipment down and work on them. Alrighty, as we walk over here, you can see other pieces of equipment. These are all Cisco equipment. Some of it's older. I teach older equipment and newer equipment. The reason is when they get to their work site, wherever they work at, where they get a job at, the equipment's not all going to be new. We don't have all new equipment where we live at. We don't have a new refrigerator, a new stove, a new TV, and neither does any type of work environment. They have older equipment, they have newer equipment, and you purchase as you get money. Sound familiar? Over here, I also have some control over this. This is an actual switch that provides internet connectivity. All right, you can see it's actually lights are flashing. I'm getting ready. I got a student here setting up a new switch because this switch is kind of outdated, so I'm moving up to a little better switch. So you see that there, and then you see some of the green wire that connects from the rack there to the switch, and then the yellow wires that come out the back that go out through the floor, and then they eventually connect over to another building where they have internet connectivity. Over here I have some laptops that I utilize for configuring devices, because most of us as network engineers, when we get to our work, we don't have desktops. All right, those days are kind of gone. All right, I had a desktop way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then I was given a laptop, and then on the laptop I do all my work from it. Okay, which includes configuring devices like the switch and router here, or working on this printer that you see here, which you would think, well, what's so great about a printer? Well, these days employers think of anything hardware as your responsibility. All right, so something needs to be fixed. As far as they're concerned, a printer is no different than this device over here. So, and I always tell my students, these devices here are nothing more than specialized computers. All right, that's all they are. They're nothing more than specially configured, designed, manufactured computers. Then they do it one simple task. All right, like I said, I told you that we had we have live internet connectivity. Over here we have 2 live servers that I maintain, and students configure these. One, as you see right here, is called a VMware. It's a virtualized VMware server that controls all of the remote desktops that we put out on the screens here, not only here in the classroom but also at home for students to use. And this is a Windows Server 2012, which maintains all the accounts for all the students. So that's there. As you can see, this kind of mess here, and it is kind of a mess, it is a pod that a student, intern student that is utilizing right now is configuring. And you see all the wires, and it looks pretty messy, and it is. What I'll do later is get shorter cables to make it a little neater and have them tagged so that they know what they're doing. You can see a laptop here that's used to configure the device, and there's this book of notes and things of that nature, and that's connected to the switch there. And then over here for the students, we have a collection of 4 PCs that's live on the server there that students can have access to from home or from here, and it has testing software. The students come in and they learn for 2 semesters or 4 semesters, and then they have to get certified, which means they have to go to a testing center, licensed testing center, and take a test. All right, and so what I've done is provided a kind of like a digital library of testing material and practice labs for students to use and practice up before they take the exam. And it's shown for those, about 50% of the students take the exam when they leave here, and of those 50%, 90% pass the first time. So it does work. Now you're probably saying, well, what about the other 50% that's not taking the exam? And I can't answer that. I don't know why they spend 2 to 4 semesters to take a class and then don't get certified and work in the field. I can't tell you. I wish I had an answer to that, but so far I do not. Okay, so you see all this equipment and you say, oh, this is great, if you want to be a network engineer, and the rest of you is probably thinking, okay, that's nice, but that's not my cup of tea per se. So what happens if I don't come to class, which happens because of life events? You're sick, your significant other's sick, your baby's sick, you have an emergency at work and you have to not come to class for a week or 2 while you do a project. So what do you do? Well, here I'm going to show you on my computer screen here what we've done. What I've done is what we now call NetLab. Here a little bit. What this is a computer program run on a NetLab server here at Sinclair, in which you can do the same commands that you saw on this physical equipment on the NetLabs device. It's actual working equipment, just like you saw here, only there is software running each one of these routers that you see here. There's a router here, 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 and then 3 switches, 1, 2, 3, and there's 3 PCs, 1, 2, and 3. They're wired just like this, as you see on the diagram, and you can do the same labs on this as you can on these devices here. Now, what's the difference between doing it here and doing it here? Well, the commands are the same. The only thing that they're not getting here is the actual physically turning the equipment on and actually wiring. All right, so that's the only difference they get. Now, why is that not important? Most of us, when we get hired on to our first job or second job, the equipment that you see over here is already set up, running, already been wired, and it was running before you even came to work there. So why are we spending so much time making sure you come to the classroom and wiring and setting up the equipment every time? And the answer is there is no reason why you should be doing that, because you have the software here that you can remotely manage, remotely meaning from anywhere, from wherever you have internet connectivity and a device to access the internet, and the software program to run on the device that you have, and you can remotely manage that device. So to kind of show you how the activity works, the student will take their mouse and they will click on the device, and it runs on Java. For those of you that are Java programs, you hit OK, and Java starts running, and you will get a command line terminal like this where you will enter in certain commands. So I'm going to type in enable as a command and hit enter. And just like typing the word enable on the physical equipment that you saw here, there is no difference. All right. So it acts just like this piece of equipment, except they're not in class. So some things that we've done in class that I've changed in some of the courses here is we have classroom classes where the students come in, a traditional class 1-2 times a week for about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half each day, where they get a lecture and then they get hands-on activities like working on this equipment here. We also have classes, just like the one I teach in here, the classroom, where it's online and you work on a program like this NetLab program, or also to give you more practice, we have another program which is called Packet Tracer, as you see here. It's a free program, so none of these programs that you saw over here and over here cost you any money other than the tuition to come to Sinclair. And if you're a Montgomery County resident, at $100 a credit hour, it's cheaper than a lot of other institutions around. Sorry about that, Wright State. I know I'm a student there, but we are cheaper than Wright State. So you see here we have the same kind of icons, as I call them, that you had over here on this NetLabs device. All right, this NetLabs program. The only difference is here, all right, the software is actually on your PC or laptop. All right, here you have to log in to your account here at Sinclair, and I have to set you up an account. So there are times where the equipment is busy because someone else is using it. So there are times that you may not be able to get on when you want to get on. So what do? You can go over here and do somewhat the same type of labs on this, what they call Packet Tracer simulation. All right. What's so great about this? You can do it any time of the day. You have the labs that you do that you get from me when you sign up for the class. They download those to their desktop. They're in a zip file, and then they work on those, and then I will ask them to do them. It grades them. It says if they're 100%, 80%, 90%, and then when they feel that they're done or they have a question, they turn them into me, and I will grade them and give them a chance to better their score. The purpose is for them to get 100%, no matter if it's on this device, this software program called Packet Tracer, or on the NetLabs. I grade it also. So it gives them a grade either way, and I give them a chance to better their grade, because that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to fail them. I'm here to make them network engineers, because they are needed out in society very badly. All right. So this type of program, I will show you. You click on the device that you have here, just like you click there. It opens up a window, and you have different tabs. And I always tell the students to go to the command line interface tab, and it looks just like it does over on this one also, except it's orange in color and this one's white. But it looks exactly the same. All right. The only difference between this software package and this NetLabs is this NetLabs has all the commands. So you're operating off of a physical device, and all the commands are here. The software program doesn't have all the commands because it's restricted in size of the software program. It's only about 70 to 80 megabytes, so there's only so much you can put into it for those of you that are software developers and software programmers. All right, so there's the big difference. So these are some of the things that I've provided for the students. The classroom does the packet tracers and the physical equipment. The online does the packet tracers here and the NetLabs. All right. This summer I'm developing another type of program which is called a hybrid. Hybrid's nothing more than something that you can't classify, and it's usually a mixture between two thoughts. So my one thought is online and the other thought is classroom. So the hybrid is going to be part online and part classroom. All right, so basically in a semester course of 12 to 16 weeks, students are here 24 to 32 times. In the hybrid approach, they'll be here 6 to 8 times in class, and the rest of the time they will be working on their own. Why is this a good approach? Well, for one thing, students, as I get back up and walk around here again, students don't always need to be sitting here listening to me providing information on a PowerPoint for them to view. Okay? So, the PowerPoints are on their learning management system. At Wright State, we use D2L. At Sinclair, we're moving to D2L in the summer. Right now, we use Angel, which is a product by Blackboard. So, we will be moving to D2L in the summer. That D2L will have the packet tracer program, all the packet tracer labs for the students to do for each course. The hybrid will also have the ability to log into NetLabs, which you saw over here, all right, where they'll be able to, at home, make a reservation, get onto the device, get onto the pod, log into their account, all right, and then do the labs, all right, the same labs that they would do in the physical classroom, all right. The only thing that the hybrid will have videos of me lecturing, so when they get tired of listening to me, they can stop me or fast forward or say I've heard enough of Jerry at this time and basically turn me off. All right? In the classroom, they have to listen, but are they actually paying attention in anything? That I don't know. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. All right? I know I can be boring at times. I have a monotone voice, kind of deep, and the longer I talk, the heavier the eyelids get onto the students that you would see here. The reason I don't have any students in here is Sinclair's requested, because of privacy, not to include the students in the video. So that is kind of my disclaimer here for not having any students here. All right? It's just for the privacy, and Sinclair gave me permission to do the video of the classroom, but they requested not to include any students. Let's just say it was strongly requested. So I like my job, so I will follow what they stated. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour of the classroom I have here. Again, as I scan around and you can look, I provide a lot of different types of equipment for students to utilize here, and the hybrid approach will still include the uses of some of the different types of equipment so that they don't lose out on the full gamut of items that I provide for the classroom. Which one, as colleges and other entities compete for students, which one will win out, I can't tell you. Classrooms, I usually average 10 to 12 per classroom. The online is about 10 to 12. Usually when I get to the final class, which enables them to take the certification exam, I'm usually down to about 5 to 7. All right, so, but the approach I'm taking is that those 5 to 7 students are trained to handle any type of entry-level position as a network engineer when they go out there. And I take a lot of pride in that, and I'd rather graduate quality students, and if they're only 5 to 7, then industry will recognize that we are putting out a quality product, and the students that they're getting from Sinclair meet their needs, and as they grow and become larger, or as these students promote themselves up through the network engineering field, that that the Sinclair name will follow with them. So as we finish up on this lecture and video of the network engineering, I hope that you've learned something about what network engineering is. I hope that if you have any questions, you can contact me. My name is Jerry Snyder. I'm here at Sinclair Community College in Dayton, Ohio, and you can always go onto the website www.sinclair.edu and email me or call me on the phone. If I'm not there, please leave a message and I will definitely be getting in contact with you. But I hope that as I'm scanning around showing you some of the different posters that we have up here on the wall, that you can take this and maybe spread the word a little bit about what we do here. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation here today, and I hope you have a good day. And finally, I want to show you the resources of my project. For the classroom instruction I did is Cisco for the Cisco routers and switches, Extreme for the Extreme switches, Microsoft for use of their 2012 server and Windows 7 operating system, VMware for the VMware ESXi server that you looked at, HP for the PCs that were in the classroom, and of course Sinclair Community College for use of the classroom as part of this project, and the agreement on letting us videotape this classroom for the final project. Thank you very much.